please God. It's absolutely true, isn't it? You do
Amen.
not have to please God. Did you know that? You know why? Because He's already pleased. You've accepted His Son. If you've accepted Jesus as Lord and Savior, you traded places with Him. You've accepted His good pleasure. You've accepted His reward. You've accepted His peace. He's already pleased. We're trying to work to please God. Stop doing it. Just accept the fact He's already loves you and He's pleased with you and He favors you. Did you know that I'm God's favorite?
Yes.
It's absolutely true over everybody else. Yes. It's true, isn't it?
Well, that's right.
Yes. Yes. Over everybody else, I'm God's favorite. And God gave me this revelation quite a while ago. He said, and it was when some other stuff happened, and I'll share that with you in a little while, but He said, Glenn, do you know that you are my favorite? And I'm like, I am? He says, yes. Do you know what omnipresent means? Do you know what omnipresent means? It means He's everywhere at the same time. Do you know what omnipotent means? It means He's all-powerful. He said, I have a new word for you. I'm also omni-favorite. That you literally are God's favorite over everybody else at the same time. So you're God's favorite, and you're God's favorite, and you're God's favorite, and you're God's favorite, and every single one of you, without exception. Only an infinite God with infinite love could love that much. Now we are finite creatures. We can only have one favorite.
Hello.
I'm going over to love on my wife because obviously this is my favorite. She's my bride. God has placed her in my heart. Jesus first, among people, the bride, of course, and then others, and then you last. In fact, if you put those three words together, you have Jesus, J, others, O, Y, U, last. Joy should be our abbreviation of how we live. Okay, now having said all of that, let me introduce myself and answer the question that you asked first. Who am I? My name is Glenn Smith, and I am this crazy accountant guy that lives in Maple Valley, Washington, and also teaches at universities. I teach for the University of Phoenix. I teach accounting and business. I teach for the International Academy of Design and Technology, and teach for Roskilde School, which is a transfer school from Denmark, where they send their first-year college students out to 4 different countries. Each quarter, they get to go to a different country. These are their honor students. And they've asked me to teach accounting for their school. And I have for about 3 years now. This will be my 3rd year coming up. And I love doing it. The reason I love doing it is because I love Jesus. I love what He can do and what He has done. And I'd like to tell you all about how that began, because there was a day that I did not love Jesus. There was a day that I was not interested in Jesus. There was a day that I would have told you guys, you were nuts to do this Jesus stuff. I was right about that stuff.
Yeah.
You guys are nuts to do this Jesus stuff, and keep it up! Don't stop for nothing! Because let me tell you something. Did you know that Friday Harbor is about to be underwater? I'm not talking about Puget Sound. And I'm not talking about all wet either. Friday Harbor is about ready to be a harbor for God.
Praise God.
Friday Harbor is about ready to be a place where people can find their Savior and find peace. Something very, very difficult to be found right now in the world. And very soon, very, very much more difficult. Much more difficult. And it's going to be an awesome place. But if we're going to get there, if we're going to get there, we ain't going to get there like we are right now.
Mm-mm.
You got to get nuts. There's a word that you use that has been preached by me for many decades. You have to be desperate for Jesus. Desperate for Jesus. And wanting Him is not going to be enough. Yearning for Him is not going to be enough if you're not desperate for everything He has. Now tomorrow I want to, first of all, before I start sharing all my testimony, I want to invite you tomorrow. Because tomorrow I'm going to be sharing a revelation that God gave to me to a very, very unique situation involving Sri Lanka. I'm not going to tell you any more than that, except come tomorrow, because if you can be here at 1 o'clock, you can hear a word that has radically changed my life and will radically change yours. Because, there was a day that I wasn't interested in Jesus. Back in 1982, a girl was asked in a family of 12 kids in South Seattle, where I grew up all my life, in South Seattle. And she was asked, if you have 12 kids, how many people here are from a large family? How many kids do you have in your family? 5. Did you have lots of money for presents and stuff?
No.
So double that and add 2. And you could figure where they must have been. And they were not rich. And they didn't have a lot of birthday present money for every single birthday that came along. And when their birthday came for whoever it was, what they would do is all the family would call all their friends, and they'd all get together and go do whatever it is that kid wanted to do, as long as it didn't cost any money. And so one of the girls was asked one day, Marianne DiLorenzo, was asked, what do you want to do on her birthday? And she said, I want to have a Bible study. So all their kids called all their friends, and all their friends showed up at this little Catholic church, Our Lady of Lourdes. And I am what I call a Catholic hostel to this day. And so all of them started reading the book of John and got born again and Spirit-filled to the tune of 100 kids that day. And I wasn't one of them.